Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out People of Reddit. Story 1. Toxic. This story begins during the COVID gaming glory days of 2020, but we'd been internet friends for about 8 years at this point. He was always pretty abrasive, but was fun to play with in our little gaming group when he wasn't being toxic to the rest of us. Best thing was to direct the toxic stuff towards the other team. Anywho, he begins a campaign of bringing up my partner's boobs, referring to them as milkers, constantly, in every single conversation about anything, without prompt. I asked him to stop, as it wasn't really funny. I was uncomfortable, and due to COVID, my partner and I were playing games from the same room most nights as there was very little else to do. It got to the point that I stopped coming onto Discord to avoid the Story 2. Revenge for declining to post a fake game review. I recently posted to Reddit about an iOS game I published 2 years prior which was a flop. Someone posted a nice reply, then PM'd me to say they'd left a review, the only one, and rated it 5 stars, 1 of 2 ratings. They also asked me to play their game and rate it, but only if 4 stars or higher. I played their game for an hour and sent back a bunch of constructive feedback. I also explained that due to numerous hangs and unlicensed content I would withhold my rating for now, but let me know when the problems are fixed and I'll have another look. I just realized that they removed their review and changed their rating to 1 star. My game now has 100% less reviews than before, and the average rating has dropped from 5 to 3 stars. Grr. Update. Had a chat with them, and they assure me it was a mistake and the changes would be reverted in the next few hours. That's good enough for me. Story 3. Short but sweet. I lived in downtown Denver, CO for a few years in a big tall building in the south side of the city, maybe 5 blocks from the Capitol building. We had shared laundry and though there were 100+ residents, there were few issues with the laundry room. Enters new entitled move-ins, who were rude to me in the laundry room. I had the last free washer. I made sure to come switch out my wash as soon it was done, but maybe missed the done beep by 5 minutes. I come into the laundry room and my clean clothes were on the floor sopping wet. This was a Saturday morning, so to act on my revenge I made sure to take the plug out of the washer they used, mid-wash, causing the door to auto-lock and remain locked, with no electrical component to unlock it until maintenance came in Monday and called a plumber. I kept the cord just in case I needed an extra one day. Story 4. Yank in Europe. I travel a lot with my job and at this stage I tend to notice bad behavior. As part of a journey this week, I was taking a short 2-hour flight that involved being bused to the plane. It was in mainland Europe with various languages being spoken. I got in the bus early as a priority passenger. I stood near the middle doors to get off earlier. There was a person already seated in the nearest seats to the door, with his arm across both seat backs. The spot was clearly marked for people needing assistance/elderly etc. He was a non-vulnerable American man. The bus filled up with non-priority passengers, including people with small children, elderly etc. We take off at speed but our friend doesn't bat an eyelid. Kids, parents, elderly, struggling to stay standing on a fast bus. No worries, he's very happy stretched across his 2 seats. We arrive at the plane steps and he leaps from his seat trying to push past me. My auto-petty kicked in and my arm rose automatically to grab the pole in front blocking his exit. I honestly think I was on autopilot. His nibs mutters, "Really?" I mutter softly, "I'm holding the bar to keep my balance, what's the problem?" He shuts up. Fuck, they understood me. I hammed up a genuinely bad foot, broken bone, to limp off the bus and up the steps, delaying him as much as possible and letting others pass me by. Bonus, I got my luggage off the carousel before him too. As an American he has to bring multiple suitcases everywhere. Sailed out of the terminal thinking, "See ya, asshole." Story 5. My new favorite form of petty revenge. When people see you walking to the entrance of a building just a few feet behind them but don't hold the door. But then they're awkwardly stuck with you waiting for the elevator because you were right behind them and they were probably hoping you were heading somewhere else. So you quickly get in the elevator first and press the button for your floor and don't ask what floor? Proceeding to them having to awkwardly reach near you to press the button for their floor. A classic happened twice so far LMAO. Story 6. Boss serves revenge. I'll admit this is my first post on this subreddit, so I hope it fits. Let me know if it belongs elsewhere. TL Drive at the bottom. This story is about two of my colleagues and my boss. The first colleague is a creep, let's call him, M, late 20s, Dave. The second colleague is an absolute angel, one of the sweetest ladies I've worked with and very pretty. Let's call her, F, 35, Angela. Then there's the boss. Let's call him, M, 60ish, Roger. I work in an office with about 30 other people. It's getting quite warm, so everyone is in their summer wardrobe. Angela is wearing a very tasteful, work-appropriate, summer dress. Dave keeps staring/leering at her, which makes her uncomfortable, so she asks him what he is playing at, why he keeps staring at her, and he says that she is displaying herself, flaunting her boobs around the office, and distracting everyone, and she needs to dress more formally. As it happens, the boss's door is open and the boss is standing in the doorway listening to the whole conversation. Then, after Dave's lady comment, he asks them both to come into his office. In they go. The door remains open, and everyone in the office is silent, straining to hear what's going on. From my seat I reckon I had the best view in the room, as my desk is virtuality in front of Roger's office. This is what we hear and see. Roger asks Dave to repeat his. Story 7. Refuse me a ride, lose double fares. I am from India. We have multiple modes of public transport. But along with your regular Uber, taxi, buses, trains, and others, we also have rickshaws or auto rickshaw as we call them. Rickshaws are three-wheeler taxi services. They are supposed to be cheaper than taxi, but most of these guys are very problematic to deal with. Here is how it goes: you flag them down, tell them your destination, and they will simply refuse. Or will refuse to go by the meter and quote a high amount of money. Either way, it's a pain to deal with. There is a rickshaw stand outside my house. Today I asked one of them if he would go to my destination, a place called Andheri. He agreed. I get inside the rick and he suddenly announced I won't go to the Andheri. I said why not? He replied I don't want to go, I don't want to deal with traffic. I got pissed off, I was in a hurry to get to work. Luckily there was another rickshaw right behind. I got in that one. Just then a couple came along asking for a ride to the mall. The first guy who refused me said yes to them. But before they could accept it, I said, hey, I am off to the same place, let's split the cost. The couple happily agreed. They got in with me. They paid me their share, which I handed off to the rickshaw driver, and I paid the driver my full amount as well. The second guy earned money from 2 fares for the cost of one, and the first guy lost both. For a long time rickshaw drivers have been being complete jerks to us. I guess now they will see we can be petty too. Story 8. When nature calls. I walk into a Speedway gas station to use the bathroom. There's a sign that says, ask staff for key. I go to the front and ask the guy. He smiles ear to ear and says, it's out of order. There are 2 unisex bathroom doors BTW. I ask him, oh man, I really have to go. Where do you go? Across the street? He says, I don't know, dude, just use a tree or some shit. I go back to my car, piss in a big jug. Filled it up good, like 2 minutes of pissing. I hop out my car, look him in the eyes from the window and pour it all out in the trash can they have at the front of the store. Don't deny people the ability to piss. Story 9. Why bother getting engaged? Obligatory apologizes for format, I am on my phone. This happened about 12 years ago. I was attending my family reunion with about 400 members in attendance. My dad's girlfriend dropped the bomb that they got engaged with no warning. My dad's fiancé was very rude to my brothers and I since we met her and was very petty. My family also didn't like her. Here's the kicker though, my dad made my mom sign a prenup because he had a good paying job. When my mom filed for divorce 5 years prior to this family reunion, she ended up having way more than him and he was dragging out the divorce to get alimony. The fiancé saw that she finally won my dad because she was the one mistress that got a ring. Anyway, throughout the day, the fiancé would goad me into commenting on her ring or engagement but I wouldn't because I knew I couldn't say anything nice. She knew I was upset my dad hadn't asked us if we liked her enough to support an engagement so she wanted to twist my words to get me in trouble. She did this often and it would result in me being emotionally, verbally, and often physically injured by my dad. By the end of the day, I was exhausted being basically chased and incriminated. TBH, I had more patience as a 13-year-old than I do at 25. Here's where I got revenge for myself and my mom who was trapped in the never-ending divorce. She confronted me and told me I was rude for not telling her congratulations and asking why I had no manners. I looked right at her in front of a group of my aunts and said, I don't know why he bothered proposing, he won't sign the divorce papers with my mom. I can't remember what happened immediately after that because I truly believed I wouldn't live to see the next hour. But I did. My idiot dad had the unsigned divorce papers in his truck at the reunion and the fiancé found them. She ran around the most dangerous part of town screaming her head off. My grandma had to track her down and drag her to the car by the hair. I sat in the backyard with my cousins getting eaten by mosquitoes while I heard my grandma, great-grandma, and aunt threaten my now stepmom that if she stepped out of line and embarrassed them again in their town, it would be the last thing she ever did. She left me alone after that and I secured my mom's divorce that summer. Edit, typos. Story 10. Porta Potty Updates. I have a person and family in my life that are pure scum. They have made it a point to dox and start crap with a very good friend of mine. It dawned on me how nasty porta potties are. So, naturally taking into consideration how crappy these people have made my fiend's life, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I had stickers made up and put their phone numbers on them so people can complain about the condition of these porta potties. Every porta potty I come across gets one. I also happen to work in a field that requires the regular use of these. Needless to say, I come across many porta potties and now they will too. Story 11. TW Adult Content. How I got my revenge on a perv. How I got my revenge on a pervert. Edit, written on a phone, not a native English speaker, and have add. Edit 2, typos, grammar. Because these questions/remarks have been asked/made several times in the. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.